Ever feel like you're a good guy with a lot to offer, but women just aren't interested? Like you put yourself out there, but keep getting passed over or ending up alone? If you're starting to wonder what you're doing wrong, this guide is for you. The hard truth is, sometimes the reasons women avoid certain guys have less to do with looks or money, and everything to do with attitudes and behaviors that subconsciously scream low value to them. Things like desperation, lack of self-awareness, and entitled mindsets can repel partners before you even realize what's happening. But by getting real about these unattractive tendencies, it's totally possible to level up. Here are 10 telling signs you may be giving off low-value vibes. 1. You can't stop bragging. One of the biggest signs of low value is a constant need to prove your worth by bragging, humble bragging, or name-dropping. This insecurity screams, "I'm not secure enough in my value to let it speak for itself." The low-value braggart will constantly mention his Tesla, big bonus, or celebrity buddy no one cares about. His favorite gambit is the backhanded humble brag, like, "I'm so exhausted from working 90 hours this week," or, "Between my modeling side gig and tech job, it's hard to find free time." Subconsciously, this comes across as cringeworthy desperation for validation and approval. Well-adjusted people can smell this neediness from a mile away. Their instinct is to avoid associating too closely with insecure braggers. The secure, high-value person is comfortable letting his accomplishments organically speak for themselves as they casually come up. He has nothing to prove and doesn't use boastfulness as a tacky crutch for self-worth. 2. You have nothing going on besides chasing partners. A huge low-value red flag is having no meaningful existence outside of trying to date and hook up. Guys whose entire personality, interests, and driving motivation revolves around scoring partners are profoundly unsexy. The low-value guy has no real hobbies, creative outlets, or non-romantic goals he's working towards. His days are consumed by gym-tanning laundry in hopes of maximizing shallow attractiveness, or he's constantly hunting dating apps, cold approaches, and clubs trying to catch a romantic prospect. But people with self-actualized high value are multidimensional. They have rich inner lives outside the dating scene full of friends, passions, and enriching experiences. They're focused on leveling up in other meaningful ways beyond just chasing partners. Subconsciously, one-dimensional people seem painfully thirsty and low value to invest in. But a person actively growing themselves through purposeful and enriching existence signals stable, high mate value. 3. You constantly complain about all women. A glaring low-value red flag is bitter, misogynistic vitriol disguised as just venting or being real about women. The toxic all women are guy frames the opposite sex as a monolithic group of subhuman adversaries. Maybe he rants nonstop about all women just wanting guys with money, or all modern women being narcissists only interested in Instagram. Perhaps he bitterly complains about being stuck in the friend zone by shallow women. Regardless of the specific rant, the underlying vibe is profoundly unlikable. It broadcasts crippling insecurity, lack of accountability, and, worst of all, an inability to see women as individuals or fellow humans worthy of basic respect. On the contrary, magnetic high-value people see their potential partners, regardless of gender, as complete equals worthy of dignity. They take accountability for themselves while empathizing with mutual human struggles. Emotionally unintelligent complaining and scapegoating supposed gender monoliths screams, "I'm bitter, resentful, and unlikely to cherish you as an individual." Most well-adjusted women, or men, will promptly remove themselves from that dysfunctional orbit. 4. You mistreat service workers. How someone treats staff like servers, cashiers, and custodial workers is a huge low-value indicator. Low-value individuals are dismissive, impolite, or outright abusive to such workers, revealing their own lack of empathy. The textbook low-value guy is the one publicly berating a barista over a small mistake, or he's snapping fingers at the waiter in an appalling display of entitlement. Basically, he believes his own convenience should be the service class's highest priority, and how dare they do not cater on command. Meanwhile, high-value individuals appreciate and validate the human dignity of every job, even unglamorous ones. They extend the same kind courtesy and patience to workers as they do anyone else. An inability to show basic decency to the little people screams a person views himself as superior to swaths of humanity beneath him. This egotistical worldview is not only morally bankrupt, but also deeply insecure and low value. 5. You frequently humiliate women for sport. Casual misogyny and reducing women to crude objects for locker room mockery is a neon low-value sign. Despite shallow protests, this is just how guys talk. Most well-adjusted women and men find it painfully childish and repulsive. The low-value frat guy brags about his hot sluts and rates women's body parts. His banter involves charming hits like calling females bitches or labeling them as categorically crazy or drama. To him, women exist solely for his enjoyment and consumption. In contrast, high-value adults discuss the human beings they're interested in, whatever their gender, with basic decency and respect. They don't participate in immature objectification or sweeping insults. Why? Because treating prospective partners as faceless punchlines completely dehumanizes them and broadcasts glaring red flags about the person's own maturity, self-control, and underlying views. Most folks worth investing in avoid partnering with people this emotionally stagnant and low value. 6. You have a history of using and discarding partners. Few behaviors scream lower value and less self-worth than serial casual dating and discarding partners as soon as the newness wears off or your needs change. The low-value male is infamous for dashing off as soon as his girlfriend starts gently hinting about commitment or emotional intimacy. He shamelessly trades in the old model the second a shinier romantic interest comes along. Truly high-value individuals take accountability for their part in relationship dynamics instead of perpetually bailing and deflecting. They're consistently willing to do the hard work of healthy, respectful commitment and communication. Because high self-worth people ultimately know the reward of intimacy is far more valuable than being avoidantly disposable. 7. You're a flaky, unreliable person. Does it seem like no matter how promising things start, you just can't seem to lock down solid plans or commitments? If people are constantly calling you out for being flaky and unreliable, that's a huge low-value red flag. The low-value guy is the one who will make plans for a date, then ghost, or give a lame excuse for bailing at the last minute. Or he says he's seriously interested in a relationship, only to start acting shady and distant out of nowhere. On the most basic level, this lack of dependability shows you don't truly value other people's time and energy. It's selfish behavior that signals you can't be trusted to show up, either literally or figuratively. High-value partners avoid these non-committal routines like the plague. 8. You've got zero emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is absolutely crucial for any healthy partnership to thrive long-term. People who are EQ novices and seem to live only on the shallowest surfaces send up major low-value red flags. The emotionally unintelligent guy is incredibly dense when it comes to picking up on subtle emotional cues or subtext. He has no idea how to validate his partner's feelings or make them feel heard and understood on a deeper level. The emotionally clueless woman tends to be equally tone-deaf when it comes to owning and managing her own emotions. She's quick to angry outbursts or deflecting any form of criticism with immediate defensiveness. 9. You're chronically impatient and rush into things. One of the fastest routes to being perceived as low value is constantly rushing into romantic situations without letting relationships unfold organically and sustainably over time. The low-value person always wants to prematurely lock things down or take the next huge commitment step before the partnership is truly ready. Their approach is impatient, pushy, and has lack of emotional discipline. Maybe the overeager guy is trying to make things official after just a couple dates. Maybe he's amping things up way too fast with constant "I love yous" and future tripping before the spark even has chance to naturally develop. The low-value woman's version could be clinging extra hard at the first hint the guy may like her or talking about moving in together after a month. Everything is subject to being blown out of proportion on hyperspeed without care for proper pacing. 10. You're aimless with no ambition or drive. Having zero sense of purpose, direction, or internal drive ambition is an immediate beaming low-value signal. People who just sort of exist passively with no goals or motivating forces are incredibly off-putting mates. The no-ambition, low-value guy floats through life with no real career aspirations or active interests beyond drinking, video games, and chasing hookups week after week. He has no vision for what he wants out of life or roadmap for getting there. When your whole existence revolves around consumption and instant fulfillment with no striving for personal growth, you subconsciously broadcast low value to prospective partners. It signals you lack the internal fortitude and discipline to reach your full potential as an individual or within a relationship. High-value people are automatically wary of aimless drifters. At the end of the day, most emotionally intelligent, self-respecting individuals are going to sense red flags from guys exhibiting too many of the low-value behaviors described here and keep their distance. That's not because they're shallow or overly picky. It's about self-preservation and understanding human nature. The beautiful truth is that each of us has the power to flip the script by doing the inner work to raise our mate value. By cultivating traits like integrity, purpose, and self-worth, we become profoundly attractive to all the right types of partners. The choice is ours to make. If you have made it this far, let us know what you think in the comment section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.